Okay, so let me start off with happy birthday to you. Are you like me celebrating birthday? Yeah, it's Nigeria. Nigeria was 65 yesterday. So, you know why I sang happy birthday. Are you singing with me? With that, I welcome you to the Lagos Youth Show here on Lagos Television, where we talk to you about things concerning the youth, youth from every part of Lagos. We give it to you from music to tech to culture, everything concerning the youth, which you need to know and get involved with. That's what we talk about on the Lagos Youth Show. I am Oluwatose Olajide. All right, before we go on today's topic, where we talk about the future of the youth in Nigeria, especially the youths of Lagos State. Let's go on this quick break. We'll be right back.
I have a message for you, you young people. You are the future and the greatest asset of this blessed country. You must continue to dream big, innovate, and conquer more territories in your various fields of science, technology, sport, and art and creative sector. Our administration, through policies and funding, we continue to give you wings to fly sky high. We created NEL Fund to support students with loans for their educational pursuits. Approximately 510,000 students across 32 states of the Federation, including FCT, have benefited from this initiative, covering 228 higher institutions. As of September 10, the total loan disbursed was 99.5 billion, while the upkeep allowance stood as 44.7 billion. Credit Corp, another initiative of our administration, has granted over 153,000 Nigerians 30 billion affordable loans for vehicles, solar energy, home upgrades, digital devices, and more. Youth credit, which I promised last June, is a reality, with tens of thousands of NYSC members now active beneficiaries of consumer credit for resettlement. Under our Renew Hope agenda, we promise to build a Nigeria where every young person, regardless of background, has an equitable opportunity to access a better future. Thus, the investment in digital and creative enterprise, IDICE program, the Bank of Industry, is driving the program in collaboration with the African Development Bank, the French Development Agency, and the Islamic Development Bank. This initiative is at the cusp of implementation. Our last 2 years, we have collaborated with our partners to launch the program, supporting our young builders and dreamers in the technology and creative sector.
In case you're just tuning in, it's the Lagos Youth Show here on Lagos Television. And it's the Independence Day special. Yeah. Nigeria is 65. And as youth, if you count your age now, youth, okay, let's say 45. No, 35. Yeah, let's make it 35. How many of you are still youths? All right, so we have all right, so we have a guest with us in the studio today. We have a guest in the house and online. You know how we run it. Yeah, we give it to you hot, hot. All right, our guest today on the program, we have in the studio, we have Abdulrazak Mohammed. He is a member of the Youth Parliament here in Lagos State. Also, we have Damilola Oreolua, who is the executive director, Youth Be Involved. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Hi, good afternoon,
All right.
everyone.
And Damilola, you're welcome back.
Thank you very much. Thank you
Yeah,
for having
I
me
can
again.
say you're welcome back, right?
Yes, yes.
All
Thank you for
right.
having me once more. Thank you.
Okay, so the topic today is Nigeria at 65. Youth powering the next chapter. How do we do that? All right, I'm going to start with Abdulrazak Mohammed, who is here with me in the studio. All right, let me go to our guest in the studio. That's Abdulrazak. All right, can you tell us your fondest memory of independence? Nigeria is 65 now. Yeah, your fondest memory of independence that you can remember.
Okay, thank you so much for having me. And yeah, if I would say my fondest memory is going to be the one I had when I was still in secondary school, particularly when we have to go to the TBS, Tafa Balewa Square,
Yeah.
to do some demonstration. And
Like
all of
March
that.
Past.
Yeah, march past, and then we have the flags and all of those paparazzi. So yeah,
Yeah, having the Nigerian flag,
exactly. Running around, painting your face, and all of those things. Those are some of those memories that I particularly hold on to.
Yeah, that's something I personally can remember because we always look forward to
Day.
that day when we all go in our school uniforms, socks, just
Exactly.
matching. You have to look neat for the day.
Exactly.
All right, let me go to Damilola. Today is yesterday was independence, and today we can say Nigeria is 65. What's that one thing that still makes you feel anywhere I am, anywhere I get to, I am a proud Nigerian?
One thing I would say is, yes, I would like to acknowledge the uh, the fact that we've been able to retain our democracy for 25 years. Of course, we've had a democracy since we got our republic in the one that we practice now in 1999. So, I mean, I think it's commendable that we've been able to sustain that democracy, and we've been able to break that chain of going from democracy to dictatorship for the past several decades. So I think it's something that we can commend as achievable. And another thing in the social sphere that I would say is impressive is the creative industry. Afrobeats now is doing well internationally, and even people like Hilda Bassi making the country proud by winning, by setting milestones and actually breaking world records. Even Toby Amuson, so many people making the country proud, despite some struggles that we might be facing currently. I think it's something to be proud of, and for me, I will remain proud of being a Nigerian, and despite the hurdles we are facing right now, I believe that a new Nigeria is very much possible.
It's possible. Thank you very much, Damilola. All right, Abdulrazak, let me come to you. As a young leader, what comes to mind when you think of Nigeria? Having Nigeria 65, and as a young leader, what comes to mind coming from 1960 down to now? What comes to your mind as a leader, a young leader, about Nigeria?
Yeah, all right.
Coming from 1960.
Okay, yeah, thank you so much. Basically, for me, Nigeria celebrations on the 60th, 65th anniversary. It's not just about celebrating the past. For me, as a young leader, it's about asking the question, what is next? Because we are youth and we are powering the next phase of Nigeria. Anyways, the future of Nigeria. So just like everybody knows that, yeah, the future is now, not tomorrow, because we are the future, and then we are the structure that is meant to be put in place. So basically, for me, the question to ask is, what next? So what is next for the youth to jump on? What is next for the country to put in place to absorb the youth, right? So these are some of the things that I tend to put forward within myself and within my space.
Your space. That's a good one. Okay, Damilola. Nigeria is one of the youngest countries, in the world. Yet many young people feel left out in governance. and decision making. Why do you think there's a disconnect? Why do you think there's a gap there?
Well, there are being created. I would say, access to funds is one of those things when it comes to young people joining the government or getting involved in governance. I think that there's a challenge when it comes to the financial capacity of young people. A lot of young people feel left out because they don't have the financial means to really get involved with the system. And it's very unfortunate that right now, although young people are shaping the culture of the economy and even politics, through social media, we still don't have the opportunity to hold offices as much as people in the older generation. And so I think beyond protesting and other ways that we try to enhance our voice, I think that we must try to create spaces for young people, create opportunities for them to actually get involved in the system. And we can do this through implementing legislation that can be beneficial to young people. One thing that I might suggest is providing a cap when it comes to lower level government offices, such as local government elections. There should be a cap on let's say a lower cap on the amount of money you will be able to spend during an election, and it should be enforced. And that cap should be something that a lot of young people can, access realistically.
All right, Damilola, can I ask you, is it until one gets involved in, being in position, politics, before the gap can be bridged?
Not necessarily. We can see that there are people thriving in other spaces like tech, doing well. Even people that are, people that are doing so well in tech and SMEs and innovative people, they are already diversifying Nigeria's image beyond oil. So it is possible for young people to thrive without being in governance. But for me, I still believe that being involved in governance is important because that is what actually shapes our policies. That is how our laws are actually created. So you cannot really you cannot escape governance. It's very difficult because it affects every single aspect of our lives. So for me, that is the major thing that I'm focused on. And for me, once we are able to tap into that political space, it can open so much more opportunities for young people. That's just my own take on it.
All right, thank you very much, Damilola. All right, let me come to you here in the studio with me. Okay, so as a young person, as an advocate, as a youth parliament, well, your leader, yes. As a youth parliament leader, do you feel young Nigerians today are more empowered than the youth in the earlier generations?
Well, I'm going to say that, we can't really compare the earlier generations to this time because we are more exposed to a lot of things. And, everything is now moving very fast now in this generation. So I'll say that the youth now are not, there's empowerment anyways, but the empowerment is not really enough to drive the force. Lagos State is, is trying. We have the youth parliament. We also have Lateef Jakonde. This is also an avenue to groom youth with respect to politics or making change in our various community or constituency, I'd say. So it goes beyond being now let's say for instance in the Lagos State cabinet now we have a lot of young persons serving as the senior special assistant to the governor in various capacities. So these are one of the platform that we feel we need to do better on, in such a way that is going to add more value and empower the youth. And also not only about politics, we have youth, thriving in different aspects of life. We have in tech, we have in creativity. If you check on social media, a lot of youth are thriving. Now, this is also an avenue to drive empowerment, to enforce that, this is thriving, and then everybody should tap into this opportunity because there are so many persons out there that have not paid the gift of success. And how do I mean? When you're successful, you need to bring in somebody, not necessarily your brother or your sister or your son or your daughter or your wife. You know, you need to bring in somebody from the outside space to groom, and that is also a form of empowerment. And even it affects every field of life. Let's say you are a banker, you need to groom somebody within the banking system that could be just like you, because when your generation is gone, the next generation coming needs to understand everything about what is going on, so that your legacy can last longer than
And
you
do
could
better.
imagine. Exactly.
All right, let me ask you. If you had to capture the state of Nigerian youth in one word, what will it be and why?
Well, if I would have to capture the state of Nigerian youth, I'd say that it's interesting, basically.
Okay.
And why is it interesting? Because it's so dynamic. You could see that, oh, some youth are going positive, yeah, very excellent. You know, some youth are making Nigeria proud, anyways, yeah, excellent. But if you check the other way around, you see that, oh, this is another stain on the faces of the youth, you know, and this is what we do not want. So it's so much interesting in such a way that you see that you're expecting that, oh, everything is going to be normal, but at the end of the day, you see that in some aspect, it's not normal. So I feel like it's always interesting.
Okay, so the other part that is not normal, as a youth, what do you think can be done?
Well, there's a saying that I used to hold on to, because I believe that if everybody is placed on the pedestal in the right way, not like too exposed to that pedestal, but there's a template for the process. So if everybody is placed on the right pedestal, everything will fall in line. Everything will fall in line, because I've seen that this generation do not like, you know, much of enforcement. Let them understand, okay, what do you want? Ask us, what do we want? This is what we want. Okay, based on our own experience, this is how we can perfect it. This is how it's going to make sense, you know. But if we fail to build that structure that we feel like, oh, it's not interesting, it's not necessary now, little do we know that that structure is going to bring us down later. So, and that's where we're coming that, okay, if they didn't build the youth now, the nation, let's say Nigeria is now 70, and those people are now like out of the space. Now, who is going to handle the whole situation when the youth are not open or exposed to all those things? Yeah, so that is just...
Thank you very much. I remember from what you said while you were talking about, you said the youth we have now don't like being enforced, being told to do, you must do this, this is the way it should be done. I remember a video I saw, I think on Instagram some time ago, where I think the provost of an higher institution, he was talking to the students on them having their passing out, what's it called?
Sign out.
Sign out, yeah. Where they have to sign on their clothes. So I think a day before the day there was, you know, they had riots in the school where police came and all that. So seeing the man, the way he was talking to them, he talked to them in ways they would understand. Now, if you're being sensitive enough, you know the man actually wants them to do his bid, but he's making them see reasons why they should do it. But not everybody is actually patient to do that, you know?
Yeah, that's why diplomacy is important. You know, when you are diplomatic in your approach, there's a way you are going to talk to me, and then I'll be convinced that, oh, even though I'm not really pleased with what you have said, but because of one or two, I would consider that,
Okay,
oh, well,
let's just
do
give
it.
in to it.
Exactly. So diplomacy
right.
is important.
All right, let me come to you, Damilola. Now, Nigeria is 65. Looking ahead now, let's say 35 years from now, then we'll say Nigeria is like that it should be like 2060, if I'm right. Yeah. What as a Nigerian, as a young Nigerian, what will I say, what's your passion, or what do you think personally you can do to actually make Nigeria better?
Okay, my vision of a better Nigeria is a Nigeria that is more inclusive of young people, especially in the governance space. And that's something that I will continue to emphasize because of how much governance affects our lives daily. It is also a more democratic nation where people feel that their voices are actually being heard. Because if you check it, most of the reason why young people, or a part of the reason why young people are apathetic, is because they believe that their voice will not be heard, their votes will not count. And so if we're able to change that narrative, and make them feel like their voices and their votes matters, they will definitely get more involved in the system. And that's why at Youth Be Involved, we try to encourage young people, even at the Lagos State local elections that just concluded recently. We went out trying to mobilize young people to get them to be involved. Although we got a lower turnout than expected, I feel that it's a work in progress, and over time, I think young realize the importance of being involved in democracy. And actually, the truth is that the more apathetic you are, the more likely it is for the system to be rigged. And so you staying out of the system is even giving more power to those who decide to rig elections. So for me, I really hope to see a Nigeria where young people have more of a say. And when it comes to having a say and a seat at the table, I don't just mean giving people positions where they cannot actually function effectively for their peers as young people. I mean, actually doing the work of gravitating young people towards governance. So for me, I believe that if you're a young person in governance at the seat, if you have a seat at the table now, your job should be trying to make sure that you can encourage young people like yourself to be involved in the system, because you cannot do it alone, because you'll be overwhelmed. There are so many people in the older generation in the system that you cannot possibly have a voice if you are not supported by your peers, young people on the streets. So we need to make sure that we have people that are at the top that actually represent the average Nigerian youth on the street. That is very important. Not tokenism where people are just there to have a face. We want real action, real youth mobilization, and real youth representation in Nigeria.
All right. Thank you very much, both of you. To wrap it up, Damilola, if you could send one message, directly to our leaders today, on behalf of the young people, what would you say?
Well, on behalf of young people, I would say that young people, we as a collective hold, we are over 60% of the population, and the truth is that we have a lot more power than people realize. And so I think it's beneficial for those in power to actually make sure that they do things and they create policies that make sure that we get on their side. Because right now, a lot of young people feel marginalized and they don't really feel like the government represents them. Maybe not all, but some. And so I feel that they can do a better job of trying to create policies that young people feel, are about them. Because, you can't create a blanket policy. Yes, it's good for but you need to do something that you need to create policies like Not Too Young to Run, for example, is one of those policies that you can tell that the young people were at the heart of that bill. So if you can get more policies that you can tell that, okay, young people are involved, they are involved, they are at the center, they are the focus. Once we see those kind of policies, those kind of changes, naturally we will start to feel that we are actually being heard. So that's what my message is to our leaders today. I would propose trying to implement more policies, more laws that are youth friendly, and so that way young people can gravitate towards the system more.
Thank you very much, Damilola Oreoluwa. Thank you for being on the show again. It's glad to have you. We hope, I know some other time when we call you, we're glad to come over.
Oh yes.
Thank you very much for joining us. Also, Abdulrazak Mohammed, member Lagos State Youth Parliament. Thank you for coming around. It's glad to have you. It's good to have youths that are involved, yet youths that really want to do things right. And I hope with people like you in the parliament, Nigeria is bright. By 2030, things will go well for us in Nigeria. Definitely. Thank you very much for coming on the show. Thank you. Okay, it's the Lagos Youth Show, Lagos Television. Here today, we talked about Nigeria at 65, future of youths, in Nigeria, especially Lagos youths. And as youths in Lagos, you need to do something if you want the future of this country to be great. One of our guests, that's Abdulrazak, he talked about training somebody in your field, telling the person, tutoring them so as to carry on the legacy, or so as to carry on what you're doing and even do more of what you're doing. So as a youth, start from somewhere. If the elders refuse to do it, you why not do it? Take it up. Yeah. All right, so we wrap it up today on the program, the Lagos Youth Show. We'll meet some other time. I am Oluwatose Olajide.